Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, November 19th. And today we're going to cover the Target 25 ETFs. Yesterday, we all got an email, assuming we sign up for the emails, that these are launching, or these have launched, or at least a few of them have. So I figured I'd do kind of not a deep dive, but a mini dive into these funds and see what they're all about, and then see how I'm going to track them going forward. All right. So as you can see on the website, this is one of their funds that they launched first. Of course, they're going to launch first the MSTR version. It's called MSST. It says YieldMax MSTR Performance and Distribution Target 25 ETF. So basically, think of it as almost a similar fund to MST. However, it's going to be, let's say, less aggressive, getting after the premium, collecting premium, and pay a consistent 25% annualized yield. Because when you're paying a 25% yield, say, versus maybe a 50 to 70% yield, you can adjust your strategy. So it says here, the annual 25% target is not a guarantee, nor does it represent a 25% yield or a 25% total return. Why choose the fund? It's designed for income and growth. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right, we know all that jazz. Move on. All right, so again, it's going to be like a group of funds. We'll call it Target 25 ETFs. Investment objective. Again, this is always important to see what they put first. The primary objective, seek income. All right, with the targeted distribution rate. Secondary objective, seek capital appreciation. All right, so same order, income first. Fund incepted on November 17th. It's showing. Thought it was yesterday, 18th, but it looks like it's showing the 17th. Let's see, expense ratio for MSST. It looks like some of these, by the way, from what I saw in the prospectus, which we'll look at in a second, have various expense ratios. Let me fix this screen on the wide small. There you go. Okay, so what else? Starting price, $50. No surprise there. Distribution schedule is not listed, and here are the holdings. So obviously they already have holdings, which we'll also get into. But first, I want to get into the prospectus, actually. But there is actually yesterday. I think they had something up here, and I thought they were part of group one, and I was kind of surprised. I'm like, really? This is their chance to add another group. But I think they are. So if I go to the distribution schedule, they have group one, which we know, Ulti, YieldMax, those funds. And then they have group two, which are the covered call ETFs, the MSTs, the Pleiades, the Huis, we know them. And then they have, no group, it doesn't say group three, but I'm assuming it will be group three as per name. But it says target 25 ETFs, blah, 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 declaration date 12/1. Ex-dividend date 12/2, blah, blah, blah. So weekly payers, that's good, right? We love weekly. But if you look, declaration date is the Monday, ex-date the Tuesday, and then pay date the Wednesday. So we do now have a Wednesday payer. So they now have a Thursday, Friday, and Wednesday, right? So they're kind of going backwards. And I assume they'll fill in the Tuesday gap, right? So who knows what they have in store for the future, but at least for now, we know that Target 25 ETFs will pay you on the Wednesday, of course, pending holidays and this and that. All right. Okay. So I did download the prospectus. This is from the MSST, version part of the website. And if you look, it looks like they changed to I think it was MSTT, and they changed it to MSST. I don't know, but who cares, honestly. Also, look at this. So I know they only launched right away MSTT, NVIT, and TEST, right? Because if you go to the website too, which I didn't actually pull up, if you go to the top, there is under our ETFs, you can kind of see the Target 25s, MSST, NVIT, and TEST. So those are the ones they launched, right? Which is kind of why I highlighted them. We're going to have to, yeah, this is trippy. We don't want to keep that up. Let's do that. All right. We don't want that up on the screen. All right. So actually, let's expand this. So make it a little bigger so you guys can read it. Give me a second. Let's expand it even more. There you go. Okay. So where were we? All right. So these are the funds. They also have AITT for C3AI, AMDT for AMD, AZAT for Amazon, CONT for Coin, MRTT for Mara, PALT. I don't know about that name. For PLTR, SMCT for SMCI. So, you know, kind of as expected, the higher volatility plays will be added to the Target 25s, right? So, again, because it wouldn't, you know, think about it. Some of the funds, maybe with less volatility, you know, maybe they're already paying 25% yield, right? So I'm thinking, yeah, they'll start with the ones that have the higher volatility, that have been paying the higher yield, just in case. So if people want those same funds with a lesser payout, this is probably a good option for them, because a lot of people, you know, complain, why are you paying out so much? Why? But again, in the beginning, they didn't complain. They complain now once they see the strategy over a long period of time. And obviously when they first launched, there was no track record of how they would perform. But now once we have, you know, a year, 2 years, almost 3 years on some, it's good to see that we now have the record. So now people, I think a lot of people are thinking, all right, these funds are good, but maybe if they pay a lesser distribution, the NAV, the capital, could be a little more stable and a little more manageable, you know, than it is currently today. I think at least that's my thinking. I don't know what people are thinking, but that's my thought of what they're thinking. All right, here's the index. You can go through that yourself, but whatever. I did highlight it here too. The primary investment objective is to seek current income. Okay. Again, that makes sense though, because the Target 25, their name is Target 25. Their main goal is to yield 25%. Their secondary objective is to seek exposure to the share price. In this example, this is C3AI. Again, it's in alphabetical order. It doesn't matter. They're all kind of the same. But what's not the same, as I mentioned in the beginning, is the expense ratio, the expense fee, the charge that you're getting on the fund. And the C3AI is 1.22, which looks to be, you know, probably higher. I wonder, well, no, it's not on the website yet, but I guess we'll have to check some of these others if we scroll for a little further. All right. You know, I'm not going to go too deep into the prospectus, but, you know, I'll do a little. So it says here, blah, 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 targeted annual cash distribution, 25%. Yeah, we kind of know that. The fund creates synthetic exposure by combining long call options with short put options on the underlying security. Okay, nothing new there. Advisor uses one or more option strategies to seek generated net premium. So what I'm noticing in this prospectus is, you know, when they talk about options, you know, this is it. Like one or more options. More could be anything. They could do whatever, right? I'm not seeing that they're limiting themselves to do anything really, which is awesome, I think. So hopefully that'll open the door for them to be able to trade however they choose, however they deem appropriate in order to capture that 25% target. Options premium, less options premium paid, target approximately 2.2% per month, hence the 25%, you know, payment or yield or whatever. Actual results may vary and are not guaranteed. Again, they have to do that to cover their ass, just in case the yield, God forbid, it comes out to 24.99 and they get sued. I don't know if that could even be a thing, but again, they gotta do this for sure. It's not going to be always 25% perfection on every single investor. The annual 25% target distribution. Okay, great. Kind of just talks about a little more. The fund seeks to pay distributions on a weekly basis. We already mentioned that because it's on the website. Again, sometimes the website is not always like current right away, which is why I think they said group one at first. It was probably a copy from a fund. of group 1. All right, so everything else is just risk. I think I highlighted what, here you go. Everyone's favorite word, NAV erosion, risk due to distributions. When the fund makes a distribution, the fund's NAV will typically drop by that amount of the distribution on the related ex-dividend date. Okay, we all know this. But again, that's a favorite topic. People love that word. NAV erosion, NAV erosion, NAV erosion. All right. Investment advisor, Title Investments. They serve as the investment advisor. Duh, we know this. Jay Pestricelli is the portfolio manager, has been the portfolio manager of the fund since, well, now, right? Chris Mullen, I know him, his name. I'm not sure I know this person, but all good, all good. All right, let's keep going. All right, and that's it. So I think we just jumped to what, AMD? Yeah, so here's AMD. See, AMD is 1.07. So it looks like the fund operating expenses. Let's keep going. Let's see what other ones are. Where are we? Okay, so the Amazon one, 1.05. I thought MSST on the website said 0.99. I don't know what it says in here. And then here's another one, 1.07. Which fund is this? This is Coin. So, I mean, I know it's fractions of a freaking percent, but still, some are more expensive than others, I guess, to trade. Oh, here's a 0.99. Which fund is this? This is Mara. Okay. So Mara's 0.9. So maybe some are 0.99, some are a little more. So just something to keep in mind. You know, when you pick and choose which to invest in, you know, it may vary. All right, so that's the prospectus. I'm not going to go into, although I don't know what's on the bottom. Probably not much. You know, there's a million funds here. And, you know, that's why the document is so big. I actually did not go. Who's this? This is SM. This is the last one. So let's see if there's anything. You know, they talk about the risk of the underlying clearly. Purchase. All right, here's another one. Tesla. Maybe Tesla's the last one. Again, alphabetical order. Again, I'm not going to go through this. Talk about risk. You know, again, it's a legal document. You don't want to freaking read this. But again, I use it for certain things. Of course, you want to cover. You want to go to the source. You want to go to what they have to live and die by, right? Of course, they also have to live and die by the website. But you know, it is important to, you know, read the actual legal document that's filed. All right, and then there's Jay, this guy, that guy. I'm not sure, is Scott's name ever in here? Maybe not, because it's under J technically. So, well, whatever. All right, so that's the prospectus. So I just wanted to give you guys an update there. And now I'm just going to show you real quick. Actually, let's do a Bitcoin update. I know it's almost 5 a.m., so I did get a jump start today. Okay, Bitcoin's been kind of dropping a little. What happened here? This was at 12:50 a.m. Bitcoin went to 90, and now it's up to 91.4. Again, I don't know what's going on. What it does, what it does. All right, so let's do a 150% zoom, and let me take a sip of water. All right, so for my file, not like you guys care, I have to add it to the bottom here every time they add a new fund, and then this file kind of does its thing. Hopefully it does its thing, and then it gets added to the other tabs. ETF info, outstanding shares. It looks like this is, you know, this pulls kind of from the website, but the ETF price is still not updated. Again, Google Sheets will take at least a few days to update the, you know, the actual share price, because they're not aware of it. It's not, you know, it's newly listed, so who knows how frequent. Oh, there's my alarm. That's my backup alarm. God forbid. Imagine. Yeah, right. I would never sleep this late. But you know, it's just whenever they update, whatever they update, for the most part, Google Sheets is usually, you know, a few days behind on new funds. All right. So anyway, their underlyings, obviously MSST as MSTR, you know, the same underlyings as like the regular funds. So no change there. I can't believe the MSTR 30-day IV is 78%. That's outstanding to see. But unfortunately, it's going, you know, it's volatile because it's tanking, you know, but it is what it is. NVIDIA's at 55. That's a strong IV, and Tesla's at 54. This is solid. This is really good, actually. Any of these other suckers at like 100? Yeah. Well, that's a salty fund. That's a salty ticker there. So, all right. No one's, did I see a 90? Here's a 97. Oh, Mara's at 97. That's freaking awesome. And then, oh my God, Robinhood, man. I wish Robinhood would go the other damn direction, though. But okay. So, anyway, let's move on. Assets under management obviously won't be updated there yet. For the daily compare, my thought process going forward is what I'll do is I'll do a comparison to MSTR versus MISTI versus MSST. And that way we can see how, you know, the high yielders, again, we're going to call these the high yielders, compare against the target 25ers. All right. Again, MSST is not updated yet, so you can't really see a true comparison. But we'll do the comparison to, it'll be MSTR versus MISTI, winner here, MSTR versus MSST, winner here. And then my thought is ETF winner would go here, if that makes sense, right? So, yeah, let me know if that's of interest to you guys. Obviously, I keep thinking I'm live, and I'm not, so I'm talking to myself. But yeah, let me know if that's something you guys want to see. So obviously, I'll do it for NVIDIA, and then I'll do it for Tesla as well. All right? I think it's a good idea, but who am I? All right, trades for yesterday. I'm just going to look at the trades for the newer funds. I just want to see if there are any. Actually, I'm going to go through it here. So if we go to, it says they launched on the 17th, right, through the website. So we'll go back to the 17th. And so what are the funds? What are the tickers? MSST, NVIT, and Test. Okay. So let's start with MSST. Okay, here you go. So it looks like this is probably the starter position. What is this? Stock price? Okay. This is the current stock price, so that's not really going to help. But anyway, it looks like buy call, sell put, sell call, buy call, sell call, buy call. All right, so they're adding a credit call spread, same expiration date, all right, on it. But if you notice, the expiration date on the sold call is not November 21st. It's November 28th. So maybe they're not doing weekly, you know, trades, their options trades. Or maybe they'll do whatever the hell they want. And that's what it looks like. So they're going to sell maybe like here you go, like 1.5 weeks out to almost 2 weeks out. Look at this one, 1 month out. So again, they chose the one that's 2 weeks out, strike price 217.50. And then they go 1 month out. They chose a strike price of 220. So now again, flexibility is key. Again, this is going to be probably an overall total return wise. I could see these funds outperforming the others. But again, you're not going to get that high income that you wanted, you know, from the beginning. So something to keep in mind. All right, so that's that one. Then we got NVIT. Here's the trades. Again, this is from the 17th. This is not yesterday. This is from Monday, I believe. So again, starting a synthetic position. Nothing to talk about there. And then same thing. It looks like they're sold a call for next Friday and then December 19th. And then strike prices 200, both 200. Okay, interesting there. But the long call, right, that they do for the credit call spread, they jumped up on the further dated one versus the closer dated one. Okay, something to keep in mind there. And then we look at Test. This is a test. This is a test. Test was a good wrestler. He was jacked. All right, so what do we got here? Tesla. All right, so same thing, same expiration date, so same idea. Strike price 435. Same strike price on this one, 435. Again, I don't know the as at price. I don't know what the price of Tesla was when they opened this position. But I'm guessing, yeah, they're going to go a little further out of the money than what we're used to on the other funds. The buy calls 467.50, yeah, and then they jumped up again because it's cheaper, right? Cheaper. Let's see. Well, it's actually not cheap. Well, it's cheaper comparably to between the two, because if they chose a 467.50 for this long dated, it would be a little more expensive. So that's going to eat away at their premium. Again, their focus is 25%, so they're going to try to yield 25%, on their trades. So yeah. So that's it. Those are the three. That was the update for Monday. And now we get hit into Tuesday trades. Let's see if they did any trades yesterday. Again, it starts with MSST, NVIT, nothing. Okay. And then last one is test. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test. All right. So nothing. I'm just showing the one day it had trades. Assuming this is accurate. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's move on. All right. Real life 6. I'll have to pull them now on here. Get them as part of the party, right? Because they're part of the party. Welcome to the party. All right. So let's go. They're going to be part of Guestamania, of course. So we will cover them going forward. All right. So we got to check them off. Let's see. Where's the M? So there's MSST. And then we got NVIT, and then we got test. There we go. We click that, and then they get added, and then we can see how much they made. Let's close this out, and let's see. So MSST, just curious. So far, they made about 10 cents per share. NVIT, they made 30 cents per share, and then test, they've made 25 cents per share. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. The ETF price is not updated, so I can't. This is not a true per share comparison. Well, actually, no, it is. It is, because we do have the outstanding shares, assuming that is still accurate. But it is pulling. So, all right, so that maybe is accurate. We just can't calculate the yield. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Misty tab, nothing to cover there today. They got added to the distribution here. There's no distributions, so hopefully they'll fill in. I'm not sure why this file duplicated MSST all the way across, but it doesn't matter. You guys, that's not your problem. That's my problem. All right, and then we got the holdings. So this is key, right? Because you want to know, like, what are they doing? What's underneath this price? It's a $50 fund. What is underneath that NAV? What is underneath all of this assets under management, right? So one thing I'm checking, yep. So the outstanding shares is 25,000. That represents one creation unit. So every time they add an additional 25,000 outstanding shares, that will increase the creation units by another one, if that makes sense. All right. So again, if they have 100,000 outstanding shares, that's 4 creation units. If you give a damn, I'm just mentioning it. So here you have the synthetic position. We have a MSST, again, for MSTR is holding a 192. Again, the buy call on the top, sell put in the bottom. We know about that, right? And MSTR sits at 206. Synthetic's doing well. Yeah. All right. And then covered calls. We already saw, like, the expiration dates. We don't. It is what it is. It's long dated, right? So they're just chilling, bro. They don't, nothing. But again, if MSTR tanks, they could decide, even though it expires 11/28, they could decide to close it early if they deem they collected the juice that they needed, the yield that they needed. So, but we'll see, how they behave in due time. But I can already tell, it's going to be a better, people are worried of getting capped, capped on the upside, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a real thing. It sucks. I get it. So this is definitely going to help with that. But again, you're not going to get the same payout. So don't think you're going to still get the same yields, right? But you will get definitely better upside appreciation. So if we look at the covered calls, again, assuming my formulas are working, we are currently 5.17% out of the money on the ones that expire in November, and then 6.38% out of the money on the ones that expire in December. Again, brand new fund, testing the waters, right? But as they add new money into the fund. They'll be able to add new covered call trades, which maybe they'll scatter all kinds of dates, all kinds of strike prices. We don't know. Too new to tell. But we'll talk about it. All right. So I got a message. Someone posted, it was on an X or YouTube. Do you still cover YieldMax? Yes, I cover YieldMax. I just don't do every single day, right? I had to cut back, man. I need a little break. But yeah, I'm kind of covering it. I'm leaving my, some flexibility because again, they have these announcements now, the reverse split, then this, all these announcements. And now since I'm not doing the daily coverage, I'm not bogged down to that because when I was doing that, I couldn't cover anything else really. So now at least I have the flexibility to make a random video such as today to talk about the target 25s. All right, so here's NVIT, same thing, adding a synthetic position, buy, call, sell, put, and then they're selling calls, credit call spreads on the underlying. So here you see a $200 strike price. That's 10% out of the money. That's for the November and the December. Giving it some wiggle room in this red ass market. So it is a red ass market. But again, we'll see how today opens and then we'll go from there. All right. So that's the and NVIT. So we got MSST and NVIT, and then we got test, the coolest ticker ever, test. All right. So what are we doing? We got the synthetic, we got the buy call on the bottom, sell put at the top. We know that, nothing new. I'm not going to get into too much here. I assume a lot of the people watching are very familiar with their funds. So what are they doing? They got to I got to go. I forgot to cover on the bottom. I'll get into that in a second. Tesla's priced at 401, synthetics at 405. Okay, close enough. And then their covered calls 8% and 8% out of the money for November and December. I think Tesla did have a jump yesterday. So I did, there is some stuff at the bottom. So again, assets under management for test, 1.2 million. The NAV is 49.52. Covered call contracts, synthetic. This did synthetic contracts should be 11. So we got 31 synthetic contracts. Covered call contracts, we got what? 7 and 9. Let's fix that formula. We got that. And then we got 31 there. So they're trading 100% of the fund, obviously. No surprise there. And then credit call spreads on, the whole thing. So, and then we got the, if we add up the synthetic, the total, the value of the synthetic position, you get, what is it? Negative 1,714. So again, they just opened it. So really, okay. Oh yeah, the synthetic expires January 16th too, by the way. So currently the synthetic is negative, prognosis negative. All right, assets under management for NVIT, 1.2 mil. The NAV is 49.08. Synthetic contracts, 68. Selling credit call spreads on the whole shebang. If we add up the synthetic position, that's also negative. But again, they just opened. So we got to give it time. Time is on our side. Last but not least, MSST. Oh, wait. Did I? Yeah, no, the assets under management was correct. Okay. So assets under management, again, brand new. Once you see the increase in outstanding shares, obviously the assets under management will grow. And then, the NAV will, be what it is, though. Right now it's 53.04. So obviously they had a good day. MSTR, they had a good day yesterday. Misty had a good day yesterday. MSST clearly had a good day yesterday. So it is good to see. And then once all this updates, we'll check what it was. Again, it's going to be really fun, I think, to compare Misty to MSST going forward. All right, synthetic contracts, they total 65. Yeah, it looks like, because again, they added, I updated this last night and the holdings got updated. Covered calls, 7 + 9. So let's fix that. So they're doing covered calls on the whole shebang. Credit call spread, same thing. I know we don't have to really do the math, but we can. So that's 8 + 10 right there. Yeah, so credit call spread on the whole thing. And then, of course, we add the synthetic. This synthetic is going to be worth money, though, because they actually, like we said, had a good day. So their share price did go up. So their synthetic value is 107,000. So not bad at all. All right. So that's the update on the holdings. And now you can see I did add them to Guestamania. All right. So they're going to be down here. So again, we got 3 groups. We got group 1, deck date Tuesday, X date Wednesday, payday Thursday. Group 2, deck date Wednesday, X date Thursday, payday Friday. I'm calling this group 3. They haven't called it group 3, but I'm doing it. All right. Okay. Whatever I say goes. That's the rules. Deck date Monday, X date Tuesday, payday Wednesday. All right. Payday. What? Everything is 2 words except payday. Why is that? Let me fix that. There you go. There you go, broski. All right. So, yeah. So now you can get paid Wednesday. All right. So, again, I added the 3 funds, but you can see there's 10. There's 10. It's added right here. Obviously, the others will come out in due time, but these 3, they launched on November 17th. And, yeah, nothing else to really talk about. Their first distribution, I think, what they say, December 1st. So you're not going to get, like next week. They're not going to declare. So for I think the first one we said, yeah, we still have it up December 1st. So stay tuned for that, chico. All right. So that's the update. Also, I created a watch list. I know you probably can't see this. Don't worry, I'll zoom in. I got your back. All right, so I'm gonna do a watch list. That way we can always compare the YieldMax 25s versus the YieldMax high yields to see. Again, this is, since they just launched, it's gonna look a little. Oh crap! Look at the top. The indexes just flipped green. I swear. 4 a.m. These suckers were red. Last night these were red. Now we're flipping green. Oh my God! A sign of something good. You know what? Let me go to my Roddy list. Let's see in the pre-market how we doing. Where's the pre-market? Here we go. SoFi's up. Palantir's up. Hood is up. Thank God. Alpha's up. Open is not up. I'm not worried about Open though. Open's a nut job in itself, but it's all good. NAC, forget freaking NAC. All right, well, it is what it is. Oh, I didn't add IWM. I did add IWM to the Roddy, and IWM is up 0.39%. So, hey, you know what? It's looking green. So, but it is 5:18 a.m. A lot can change. So, whatever. All right. So again, real quick recap. If you go to the website under our ETFs, they have a lot of ETFs. You remember when it was just Tesla and ORC? Any OGs here? Remember that? If it's you, type down the Premier, or let me know in the after comments. I'm just curious if you remember. Do you remember the website? What it looked like when they first launched? I mean, go to my first YouTube video on Tesla. You'll enjoy it. Although it was the mobile version, but it just cracks me up when I think about it. So now they have, so this is the app. They have the single stock. I call them the covered call ETFs, even though everything is a cover. I feel like they used to call these the covered call ETFs, but they're calling them the single stock options, which, these are the majority, Misty in them. And then they got the shorts. We know winter, which winter's kicking ass right now. And then we got the YieldMax fund of funds, YMAG and YMAX, which again, I'm assuming the target 25s. They will probably have a fund of funds at some point. The YieldMax Ultra ETFs, these involve Ulti, obviously, and then of course Salty. And then we have the Dorsey Wright ETFs, Feet and 5E, the Zero DTEs, which, as we know, they are underappreciated, even though they are index related. You got to think index related is always, a safer option. Also underrated, the YieldMax portfolio ETFs. Chippy kicks ass, man. It does. Obviously, the underlyings are kicking ass, but they're doing good. GPTY kicking ass. LFGY maybe not so much because they're crypto related. YieldMax Target 12, again, very underappreciated funds. Although I don't really dive into these too much, so I can't really speak to them. Biggie Renty and Soxy. They're not even on the freaking Guestomania. They're not even part of Guestomania because they don't pay weekly. All right. So it's not, you guys want your weeklies. I know. So forget you target 12s, you safe people. All right. And then we got the target 25s, kind of the people in the middle. They're accept, they kind of like high yield, but they kind of like safety. So they're going to jump in the target 25s probably. Again, we got MSST, NVIT, and test. Let's see what the expense ratio shows on NVIT. I'm just curious. NVIT, 0.99. Okay. All right. And I'm sure, shout out real quick to Wolf Financial on X. Go check out their spaces today, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. They will have, every week they have YieldMax on X spaces. And if you, they're always looking for new speakers. So if you do have any interest in joining their spaces, obviously you could just listen, but if you actually want to ask them a question, let me know and I could find that out. But to be honest, you can just ask, you can just go there and essentially either type a comment, raise your hand, or message Wolf Financial yourself. Tell them Rod sent you. All right. No, they're good people. So yeah, here's NVIT again, and then the other one was obviously test. Just a test. We might as well check the expense ratio on that one too. So where we at? 0.99. Okay. So again, I don't know why like C3AI was a little more expensive, but whatever. I don't know. I don't care about C3AI anyway. They've been a disappointment since we've been tracking them, it seems. But yeah. So that is the update on the target, not the store, target 25% ETFs. All right. So yeah, not bad. I think these would have probably, I'm not going to, they probably, it's probably a good time to launch. Let's just say that because the market, it's been brutal. People are crying. People are getting beat up. So imagine if this is the bottom and then the market recovers. These funds will then get a jump start, and then they'll already be ahead of the game and have, an overall total return performance in the positive. But again, we want to see how these funds do over time. We want to see how they do, standalone. We want to see how they do against the underlying. We want to see how they do against the high yield version of it, right? So that's something that I'll track going forward. I'll keep an eye. I'll do a side by side. I think it's interesting. Again, it's now that I changed kind of the content, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to compare these three. And then when they add more, there's going to be 10 total, at least as of now, until they file more. We'll compare the 10 again, assuming that is of interest to you guys. But you guys have to let me know in the comments down below. All right, so that's the update. That's all we got. I'll save that prospectus if you want it in my Discord. Let's refresh. 91.4, 91.3. It looks like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's blah. It's blah blah blah. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. That's the update. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, come back tomorrow, right? What's tomorrow? I don't freaking know. Tomorrow, I'll probably do a Roddy update, to be honest. We'll see. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Yeah, maybe probably Roddy. If that's what you want. If you want more YieldMax. Well, if Google Sheets gets updated, maybe it'll be a YieldMax. We'll see. But feedback is always appreciated. If you enjoy this content, please. There you go. There's your singing. Please hit the like button. And like I said, questions down below. Outside of that, I got nothing. Ain't nothing but a keyword. All right, so if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you gotta say the keyword. You have to say the baby. What show? Go. So yeah, keyword today is simple. 25. 25 is the number. if these funds can maintain their capital and consistently pay a 25% yield, the question to you is, can you retire on a 25% yield, right? Imagine capital flat 20. I'm not saying they can. I hope they can. That would be awesome. But I think they have a better chance now, of course. But we'll see. We'll see. It depends on the underlying, of course, the volatility, of course, all that jazz. But yeah, the target, I'm sorry, the keyword today, if you made it this far in the video, is 25, 25, 25, 25, 25. All right, I'm done yapping. I gotta get my ass ready for work. But I just wanted to say thank you for watching and have a good day. Later.